this team. So, but again, I go back to the rushing yards, man. I mean, the front seven, and especially the front line. We talked about Johnson coming over from Penn State and what Larry Johnson brings to that front line and how that was supposed to be the strength of this defense. Navy averaged 6 yards a carry against the Buckeyes. And the scary thing is that you knew they were going to run the ball 99 out of every 100 times. So I see Vashon in the chat room. What are you going to do when you've got to counterbalance passing attacks with the offense? So there's some question marks about this defense, and I know Luke Fickell has a lot of things to address this week as you get ready to go back out there. So we'll talk more tomorrow. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fans here with us. We'll get his thoughts on the first game of the season, and we'll preview ahead to this weekend as the Buckeyes look to make it 2-0 and continue that winning streak in the regular season. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan, and John McMullen, by the way, looking ahead to tomorrow. John McMullen from the Sports Network will be with us. We'll talk NFL with him and the latest as we get closer to the first weekend of the season, and we'll get his predictions as well. So a lot coming your way tomorrow as we continue rolling on and getting towards the weekend. But that's where the Buckeyes sit right now, 34-17. They got the victory over Navy over the weekend. Good to get the victory. Again, I think it left more questions after the game than questions were answered by the results of the game. Looking forward to talking to Dan Wismar about that. Let's see. I want to hit on a couple of other football things before we set the stage for tonight and head into tomorrow. Something else I noticed, looking at the NFL, and I meant to get into this with Dr. Football, and we kind of went off into some other things, but you guys know me because of because of the Indians and Chief Wahoo. I keep close tabs on the Redskins stuff because I'm telling you, if you think I'm playing, you just wait. For those of you that like to procrastinate, the world is procrastinating on putting the hammer down on the Indians with all this political correctness and Chief Wahoo because the Redskins are in the way. As soon as the Redskins are out of the way, there goes the target on the back of Chief Wahoo. It's coming. You can just we are being buffered right now by the Redskins. So I keep close tabs on that. Outside the lines, working on a piece where they took a poll of American NFL fans here and their thoughts on the Redskins. They also went around and polled players in the NFL here this year. 71% of NFL fans favor keeping the Redskins nickname, down from 89% 22 years ago. But still, to me, 71% is a solid, far and away majority, which tells me that 7 out of every 10 people have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. And nearly identical, 69% of people responded, believe that the nickname has no disrespect of Native Americans. So, and of that same poll, only 9% say it is highly disrespectful of Native Americans. That just goes back to the point that I make whenever this conversation comes out, that until that number changes, I mean, you'll know the difference. You can feel when the tide changes in society. And I think right now you have a small amount of people trying to groundswell that and make you believe that the tide has changed. But clearly these numbers show that it is not, and that the majority of people could care less about this issue and just believe that the term Redskins only means one thing in 2014, and that is the football team that resides in Washington, D.C. I mean, seriously. So, and that's the other thing I always bring up, is it's so far removed that I'm telling you, if you poll every American and say, hey, what does the word Redskins mean to you? Every one of them to a man is going to say a football team. Not a single one of them is going to go, that's a racial slur. They're all going to say it's a football team because that's the only thing it means in 2014. But I thought that was interesting to look at these numbers, and then even looking around the players in the NFL too, because you hear the talk that the broadcasters wish that they didn't have to use the word, even though none of them, well, I won't say that. Only a few of them step up and put their name to it, but the majority of them don't. 60% of NFL players as well say absolutely not should the Redskins change their name there. And pretty much it broke down across men and women and color lines and racial lines, sexual lines, everything. All kind of, the numbers stayed exactly the same. That says to me, when there's not a lot of difference in the numbers, that's the way America feels, man. I mean, that's the way America feels, you know. And I know 51-49 is enough of a majority to win the presidency, but 71-39 means, that says to me that this country has no worries at all about the nickname of a football team. They're a lot more worried about how they can get the economy moving, how they can get more jobs out there, how they can put more homeless people in houses, and do a lot of that stuff more than changing the name of a football team that plays 16 games a year. Thought that was interesting. Wanted to bring that up here because I'm telling you, whenever that's over, then we come in the spotlight, and I think we're all prepared for that. We all know what's coming. You can already see the groundswell coming. So, anyways, wanted to touch on that. Speaking of football, fantasy football. This week it starts. Tonight is the draft, and by the way, the roster is complete. We filled all of our slots thanks to each and every one of you guys who entered and asked for a spot in the Sports Fix Fantasy Challenge this year. The 14 teams have been chosen. They are in place and locked in. I'm going to read the roster to you guys now. For those of you listening that are in the league, the draft is at 8 p.m. tonight. It is an online draft, and you guys all are logged in and ready. So get yourselves together. Here is the roster of the teams that have made the cut for this year's Fantasy Football Challenge. Justin Beavers, Mike Majeski, Vashawn McLaughlin, Scott Gione, my man, Jersey Dog, Dean Samples, the defending champion, Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com has got himself an entry as part of the Sports Fix staff, Bill Graham, Charles Morgan, Joe Manasco, Joe Sweeney, Michael Smith, and my man EC3, one of the biggest stars at Impact Wrestling. You can see him every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. on Spike TV. Michael Hutter, EC3, Ethan Carter III fills out the final spot in the Sports Fix Fantasy Football Challenge, and I'll show you guys the prize here coming up next week as I'm just waiting for the right moment to drop it on you, but we definitely have another great first prize for the winner of the league, although you guys are just going to look at the picture because that bad boy staying home with me this year. So, guys, congratulations to those of you that made the cut. Get in, get your team all set up and ready to go because at 8 p.m. tonight, locked, loaded, and drafting. And then Thursday, when BJ Riddell joins us to do his sit and start for this week's Fantasy Football for Winners segment, he's going to take a look at the draft. I'm going to send it to him after it's over tonight. He's going to break down our draft. That's just one of the extra things that comes with being a part of our league is you'll get your draft broken down on the air by the fantasy football guru himself, and it's just for fun. I mean, it's worth about as much as looking at the NFL draft the day after it, but we'll have some fun with that as we prepare for another season. I can't wait. This is going to be fun. This league has gotten more and more competitive each and every year and a lot more fun. This year we tweaked several of the features to make it even more competitive. We're going to have 2 separate prizes. I'm going to announce this for the first time. There is going to be the championship prize awarded to the winner of the entire thing, and then there's going to be a second prize awarded to the winner of the losers bracket of the playoffs, because I wanted to encourage teams competing all the way to the end of the season and not having the problem that we've had in previous years where once people were eliminated from the winners bracket competition, they stopped playing the remainder of their games. So there's going to be a prize for the losers bracket as well, which means everybody who finishes below 6th place in the league will be competing for a prize all of their own, while the top 6 places will be competing for the main prize. So there you go, an opportunity to compete no matter what level you're in all season long. We think that's really fair, and it's going to open things up and make it a lot of fun for everybody and keep the competition going later in the season. So congrats to those of you that made the cut. I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. when we draft. Also, hey guys, looking ahead to this week. I mentioned earlier playing this weekend in the celebrity softball game. It reminded me I was going to joke earlier and I didn't tell you. I won't be playing like Nathan Orff did over the weekend. I saw this and I had to mention it on today's show. Played all 9 positions in his minor league game the other night for the Milwaukee Brewers Class A squad. This has been done before, so it wasn't a first-time thing, but it is a rarity. Orff went around the infield and outfield in order from the 1st through the 9th inning, playing catcher, then first base, second base, third base, shortstop, left, center, and right field, and he finished the game at pitcher. And in between, He even had a stint as the first base coach, but he faced one batter in the 9th inning, got a ground out, and that was it. But, yeah, he went out there and played all 9 innings. Last time that was done was Buster Posey of the San Francisco Giants, and he did it in college while playing at Florida State. So thought that was pretty interesting. I told Bill Graham, I said, okay, I'm gonna play in a celebrity game, but I'm not playing all 9 positions like Orf did. Just heard from my man Vince McKee here, the author of Cleveland's Finest, author of History and Tradition at Jacobs Field, 20 years of Jacobs Field history. We've talked and had him on the show many, many times. Vince McKee. He is going to join us here in the next week or two to talk about his upcoming Cleveland Cavaliers book. It's on its way here. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I love reading Vince's stuff anyway. Love reading it. But can't wait to check out his new Cavaliers book. And then we're going to have Vince here on the show and talk to him about it. The Cleveland Cavaliers, A History of the Wine and Gold. Cannot wait to talk to you guys some more about that. Can't wait to get my copy. It's on the way. And Vince McKee will be joining us to talk about that. Speaking of, if you guys have not gotten your hands on Jacobs Field, History and Tradition at the Jake, they're selling it at the Team Shop, big long homestand. Here's your opportunity to go pick up a copy while you're down there at the game. Go tell them you're looking for Vince McKee's book. It is great, and it's a great stocking stuffer or Christmas present for the Indians fan in your life. It's perfect. It's small, lightweight, compact, perfectly affordable, available at the Team Shop. Go check it out. It's the Vince McKee, History and Tradition at the Jake, and we'll talk more about his Cleveland Cavaliers book coming up later on here. Matter of fact, I think next week we're going to schedule Vince the author to join us. All right, guys, getting up against it here. Tonight, the Indians get back at it. Let's set the stage because we mentioned it a little bit earlier. You want to bounce back and get a win against a rookie left-hander as Detroit is sending one out there against the Indians. Sometimes that doesn't work out as much as you would think it would. Kyle Lobstein out there to take the mound. His second big league start. Last time he pitched, he went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 2 earned runs against the Yankees in a victory last week. Tribe, I agree with you, Vashon. They have to win tonight. Carlos Carrasco needs to be the man to do it. In his 4 starts since Carrasco rejoined the rotation, he is 3-0 with a .73 ERA. 24 strikeouts in 24 2/3 innings, and we need that Carlos Carrasco tonight. Last time out, struck out 7 over 6 2/3 innings of 1-run baseball to beat the White Sox. He's got to go out there tonight, and again, I like the difference. I think one of the biggest differences is they told him to stop saving stuff for later. I think that he mentioned that you have the mindset of I need to go 9 innings. So sometimes you monkey around and tinker around with stuff in the early innings. The Indians told him to stop doing that. Go attack we don't care how many innings you pitch. Attack guys with your best stuff from the beginning of the game. Stop giving the hitters too much credit. That was something that Terry Francona said. He was giving the hitters too much credit. Go after them with your stuff. Go get them. And ever since he's made that change in his mental approach, we've seen the difference. He's now going out there and getting them. So whatever it is, keep doing it. Go do it tonight. Tribe's got to win because you got Verlander, as Jeff mentioned, and Scherzer coming up here back-to-back. You definitely want to take this one, stem the tide, keep the momentum rolling, and make yesterday just a blip in the road for a team of destiny. Psst, by the way, that is exactly what it is. When you're a team of destiny, you don't win 30 straight. You go on the roller coaster, baby, and that is what the Indians are doing. But mark my words, Team O Destiny in full effect. We're going to come back tomorrow. We'll talk about it, as I said, talking Indians tomorrow. John McMullen's here with his NFL predictions and all of that for the upcoming season. Dan Wismar from the Cleveland Fan joins us. We'll get his predictions as well, and we're going to preview Ohio State, look back at Navy a little bit, all of that. Your take, so much more, right here live. Same bad time, same bad channel, here on the Sports Fix. Noon tomorrow, baby. You know how to do it. So come on back and do it with us. Enjoy the game tonight. Go Carlos Carrasco. Go Tribe. We'll see you tomorrow live right here on the Sports Fix. We love you, Cleveland. Go Indians. Go Cleveland.
Make that very clear. Yeah, I'm from that terminal. You can see the lake from here. Faith in my teams, we keep getting closer every year. But we got the king, though, so hopefully we overcome. Yes, I have a dream, and I know I ain't the only one. Armadale tried to steal my heart, but we brought it back. Thanks to Cleveland Clinic, now they call them Kiss the Cardiac. Rock called Science Center Towers.